Most people chasing money are doing it completely backwards, and nobody's going to warn them. They'll figure it out 10 years too late, after it's already cost them their best decade. I was told something in my early 20s that completely rewired how I think about money. A guy who'd built 3 companies looked at me and said, "You don't get a different life by doing the same things as everyone else, just a little bit harder." I had no degree, no savings, and a resume that wouldn't have gotten me a callback. Today, I don't worry about money at all. And looking back, almost none of that came from things I did. It came from 7 things I refused to do. Things almost everyone around me was doing without a second thought. Let's get into them. 1. Stop working just for the paycheck. Here's a thought experiment. 2 paths. Path A. You take the job that pays well right now. Decent salary straight away, friends impressed, parents relieved. Cash builds up fast in year 1. Feels like winning. Path B. You take the job that pays badly but throws you into the deep end. Year 1 is rough. You're underpaid, overworked, and your friends quietly think you've made a mistake. Your parents ask if you've thought this through. Fast forward 5 years. Path A has flatlined. Same job title, same ceiling, same salary with cost of living bumps. Path B has exploded past it because Path B was never about the paycheck. It was about 2 things money can't buy directly: skill and ownership. I didn't choose Path A or B by accident. I didn't have the qualifications to even get on Path A. I took an unpaid trial at a small workshop making custom furniture for less money than I could have earned stacking shelves. But I learned to actually build things with my hands, measuring, problem solving, fixing mistakes nobody taught me how to fix. None of that showed up on a payslip. All of it showed up later, when I started my own brand and didn't need to pay someone else to do the thing I'd already learned to do myself. That's the trap almost everyone falls into, chasing the number on the payslip instead of the capability the job is quietly handing you. The highest earners I know didn't get there by finding a high-paying job. They got there by becoming so skilled that paying them poorly stopped being an option. If you want a shortcut, go look at which skills are in short supply right now, not which jobs pay the most right now. Copywriting, editing, building things online, automating things. There's more demand than there are people who are actually good at it. Most people doing it are mediocre. That's good news for you. The bar is lower than you think. 2. Stop buying the lifestyle before you've built the wealth. Picture a guy in a rented Lamborghini posting from a rooftop bar in Dubai, ordering the most expensive thing on the menu just to film himself doing it. It looks like success. It's usually the opposite. Most people performing wealth online are not wealthy. They're in debt and hoping nobody notices the difference. Recent surveys keep landing on the same numbers. A huge share of people couldn't cover a surprise $400 expense. A similar share are worried about making rent or paying bills. And most households can't afford to buy a new car outright. The lifestyle is rented, financed, or borrowed, and it's designed to make you feel behind, so you spend money you don't have trying to catch up. Here's what nobody tells you. Looking rich and becoming rich require opposite spending habits. One spends on things that lose value the second you buy them. The other spends on things that grow while you sleep. Index funds, shares, property, a stake in a business. You can absolutely live large later, but later only arrives if you don't spend later's money now. 3. Stop trying to do it all yourself. Nobody builds something big alone. They just get better at making it look that way. Think of any company you'd call iconic. Dig past the founder's name on the Wikipedia page, and you'll almost always find a co-founder, an early hire, a mentor, or a group of people who covered the gaps the visionary couldn't. Apple wasn't one genius. It was 2 very different people who needed each other to function. The same pattern repeats everywhere once you actually look for it. A lone genius is a story we tell after the fact. A team is what actually built the thing.
Here's where this gets useful for you, even if you're not trying to build the next billion-dollar company. There's a huge, often overlooked opportunity sitting right in front of younger people right now. A massive number of small business owners, the people running the local gym, the family-owned shop, the independent tradesperson, are still running their business the way they did 15 years ago. They don't know there's software that can handle their bookings, their invoices, their website, their inventory automatically. Not because they're behind, because nobody ever showed them. That's not a problem for you. That's an opening. You don't need to be a coding genius to bring a business into the current decade. You need to know slightly more than the business owner does and be willing to offer to help. That gap, multiplied across every small business in your area, is a side income or a whole career hiding in plain sight. 4. Stop listening to too many opinions. Imagine standing in the middle of a room with 50 radios all playing different stations at once. That's what it feels like trying to build a life while taking advice from everyone around you. Family who want you safe, friends who want you nearby, strangers online who want you to buy their course. This isn't a willpower problem, it's a wiring problem. The human brain wasn't built to process unlimited inputs and still take confident action. Give it too many options and it doesn't pick the best one, it just freezes. That frozen feeling gets mistaken for laziness all the time, but it's not laziness, it's an overloaded circuit. The fix isn't ignore everyone. It's get specific about where you're going first, then filter every piece of advice through that destination. If it doesn't move you toward where you're actually headed, it's noise, even if it's well meant. And swap quantity for quality. One mentor who has actually done the specific thing you're trying to do is worth more than 50 opinions from people who haven't. You don't need every answer today either. Solve the problem in front of you, then go looking for the next input when the next problem shows up. Trying to front-load every answer before you started is just another way of never starting. 5. Stop letting your ego run the show. Confident people finish things. Arrogant people scroll past them, convinced they already know what's coming. That's the trap with ego. It doesn't feel like a flaw from the inside, it feels like certainty. And certainty feels great, right up until it quietly cuts you off from everything you haven't learned yet. The people who actually get wealthy aren't the ones who are sure they're right. They're the ones who stayed curious enough to keep being told they were wrong and adjusted instead of arguing. There's a simple way to picture it. What you currently know is the visible tip of something. Call it an iceberg if you like the cliche. The point is, it's small. Everything underneath the surface is what you haven't learned yet, and it's enormous compared to the tip. Ego convinces you the tip is the whole iceberg. Humility is what lets you keep diving for the rest of it. The fastest way to stay broke isn't ignorance, it's being too proud to admit there's more to learn. 6. Stop looking for someone to blame. There's an old line that stuck with me. The person who blames others still has a long road ahead. The person who blames themselves is already halfway there. The person who blames no one has arrived. Picture two tools sitting on a desk, a magnifying glass and a mirror. Every time something goes wrong, you reach for one of them. The magnifying glass lets you zoom in on everyone else's mistakes, the unfair boss, the rigged system, the bad luck, the traffic. It feels good in the moment because it costs you nothing, but it also hands away every bit of control you had over the outcome. The mirror is uncomfortable because it points back at the only person whose behavior you can actually change. "I left 10 minutes late" lands differently than "the traffic was bad," but only one of those sentences gives you something to fix next time. Excuses don't stay small either. Blame the small things long enough and it becomes the explanation for everything. Why the business didn't work, why the opportunity never came, why nothing ever lands. Pick up the mirror instead. It's the only tool that actually changes anything.
7. Stop staying where it's comfortable. Draw a circle. That's your comfort zone. Everything inside it feels safe, familiar, and survivable. The problem is, the circle doesn't grow on its own. It just sits there, and so do you, unless you deliberately push the edge of it outward. A lot of people live their entire lives inside a circle they drew as teenagers and never touched again. Surveys on this keep finding the same thing. A large share of people admit they rarely or never step outside their comfort zone, and most of them admit, when asked directly, that they expect to regret it. My circle used to be tiny. School wasn't built for how my brain worked, and I knew early on that a desk job wasn't going to fit me either. So I pushed the edge out once, took the apprenticeship that paid badly but taught me something real. Pushed it out again, started something small on the side while still working full-time, terrified the whole way through. Pushed it out a third time, took a loan to start a business with my name on it, which is a different kind of terrifying than working for someone else. Years later, comfortable again, successful by most definitions, I pushed it out one more time and started making content like this, putting my face and my opinions in front of strangers on the internet, with zero guarantee anyone would care. Every single expansion felt like a bad idea right before I did it. None of them turned out to be one. The circle doesn't have a maximum size. It only grows when you're willing to stand at the edge of it, uncomfortable, and take one more step. Nobody else can do that part for you. Those are the 7 things that, if you can avoid them, put you miles ahead of almost everyone else trying to do this. Not because they're complicated, because almost nobody actually applies them once they hear them. If this was useful, subscribe. There's a lot more like this coming, and you'll want to see the next one.